Kal Al Yahawashi Yahawashi Ba'ashem Rakakadash. All praise, honor, and glory go to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His Son Yahawashi. And just coming to you with a lesson on every month I like to look at the history of the nation of Israel in each month. It's easy research to do. You just have to find a concordance online, or if you have a concordance and it's looked up the month, or the whatever month we're in. Right now we're in the 10th month, according to the faith and the spirit of our apostles and elders that who have built up the work and did the labor for us of helping us to understand how to break down the scriptures and how to get the information that we need through the spirit. And this being the 10th month, on Saturday evening, all the way to Sunday, and us finishing up the feast of dedication yesterday evening. I wanted to go into just the month and some things happening in Israelite history. But before I do, I just want to always give a disclaimer, that these times and dates really are important in these last days, meaning that we don't know the time and date that anything is going to happen. I do this as a spiritual, just something spiritually that I do to try to get, just some understanding of our history. And if things connect, then Kal Al Yabashem Yahushua. But for the most part, we know all prophecy is going to come into play anyway. So we just, continue to wait on the Lord. But in Acts 1:7, just to kind of further the point I was just making, it says, he said to them, it is not for you to know the times and dates the Father has set by his own authority. And I'm reading this in the NIV. There you go. The Father has set all the authority. This is his movie. He decides everything's going to happen. Once again, in 1 Thessalonians 5:1, it says, now, brothers and sisters, about times and dates, we do not need to write to you. So, it's not something that's mandatory that I'm bringing out right now. It's just a quick rundown of the history of Yasharallah. So, without further ado, I've already looked up the month, and I believe the month is when we get to it in Esther, I'll break it down. But if you go to just a concordance of the Bible, this particular app gives you everything from the Old Testament, New Testament, and also the Apocrypha. And so if you go to it, it brings it down, it breaks it down, and all you gotta do is just check out the 10th. So just go 10th, and it's gonna bring up everything that brings up the word 10th. So we'll start with the Old Testament, and the first scripture that that's awesome. It says in Genesis 8:5, it says, and this is talking about Noah when he was in the ark. It says, and the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. So that's a significance. That's when everything was pretty much drained from the earth, and Noah was able to see the mountains. And then later on, he came out. He waited 40 days, and then as you continue to read, and then he sent out a raven. 40 days after that, he sent out a dove. So that was the first time he got to see the mountains after the flood. If you go over to keep going to the month, so 10th. It's gonna bring up everything in the 10th, so you got to kind of like decipher through it all. 7th month, 10th day, 7th month, 10th. Now that's significant. Let's talk about the 10th day of the 7th month, because we know the 10th day of the 7th month is the Day of Atonement. And that's significant for something that we're going to bring up later of the 10th month. Once you come across it, it says, keep on going, 10th deal, 10th deal, 10th deal, 10th part, 10th part, 10th deal, 10th deals, 10th deal, 10th deal, 10th deals, 10th deals. 10th of the 7th month. 10th deals, 10th deals, 10th deals, 10th deals, 10th deal, 10th generation, 10th generation. 10th day of the first month. All right, here we go. This is 2 Kings 25:1. And it says, and it came to pass in the 99th year of the reign of his reign, in the 10th month and the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Yahawashi, and pitched against it, and they built forts against it round about. So, in essence, what it's saying there, spiritually, you can understand that the king of Babylon, he went after the Israelites, in Jerusalem. And for us, those in the spirit, those that, are waiting for these prophecies to fall, that'd be a great thing, on this side. And that time it wasn't, of course, but now it will be if, the so-called white man imposes some kind of things that move closer and closer for him to release that micro C-hip. So we can get this thing rolling, that'd be great. But, we're just reading through history. Go back. It goes over to 10th. And this brings up the 10th captain of the 10th month. And we'll go over that last. This is 1 Chronicles 27:13. I want to read that one last. But keep on going. In Ezra 10:16. Let's see. We'll start in 14. It says, let now all rulers of all the congregations stand, and let all them which have taken strange wives in our cities come at appointed times, and with them the elders of every city, and the judges thereof, until the fierce wrath of our eternal power, Yahweh, for this matter be turned from us. Only Jonathan the son of Ashel and Jaasiah the son of Tikvah were employed about this matter, and Mushallam and Shabbatai the Levite helped them. And the children of the captivity did so. And Ezra priest with certain chief of the fathers after the house of their fathers, and all of them by their names were separated and set down in the first day of the 10th month to examine the matter. And they made an end with all the men that had not taken strange wives by the first day of the first month. And among the sons of priests that were found that had been strange wives, namely the sons of Jeshua, the son of Josadak, and his brethren, Messiah, and Eleazar, and Jarib, and Gidalah. And they gave their hands that they would not put away their wives, and being guilty, they offered a ram of the flock for their trespass. So, there was a time when, we weren't allowed through the law to take certain wives of different nations. And it kind of represents now not more so the women, because we know that we can be with any women that make Israelites. It's more just about, the doctrines, when it talks about in the end times that these men were virgins, it means they weren't seduced by strange doctrines. They didn't bow down to the ways of the beast system. And in spiritually, that's how we gotta think about it. There's different customs, different doctrines that we have picked up in this Babylonian nightmare that we've been living, and some men are not apt, or they don't feel that they have to lay them down. One of the main ones that I see out there is, that's obvious. We have some brothers that think, about covering their heads. They like to wear the fitted caps even when they preach. And that's not something that was in our culture. The fringes. I used to have fringe shirts because when I came in, that's what everybody had. Still sticking to those type of traditions. Traditions such as, the Friday to Saturday Sabbath. It's a bunch of things out there that, that's strange They're not adept to our history or who we are as a people that a lot of brothers like to hang on to. So those are the strange wives that the brothers spiritually these days will be hanging on to. If you go over to keep going. So that's Ezra. So then we got another one in Ezra. Oh, it's Esther. And this will give you actually the name of the month right here. So it says, let's start in let's start in verse 5. Esther 2, sorry, verse 8. It says, so it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan, the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And if you reading about Esther, you know, it's talking about Esther being brought to a foreign king. You know, spiritually, you might want to think about more of the elect. You know, the elect being brought to Yahawashi. It says,